Hello guys, welcome to the Lifestyle Living Podcast with Toby Misa. This is of course our first episode and I am so pumped up. We're shooting our first episode right from the city of London. What? How interesting can that be? As you know, this is a lifestyle podcast, so we'll talk about everything lifestyle, real estate, travels and tourism and all of that. Today, on the first episode of the Lifestyle Living Podcast, I'm honored to have my mentor is my oga, in the lifestyle industry, in the real estate industry. I really look up to him. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, put it up for Mr. Emeka DIS. Welcome, Mr. Emeka. Welcome. And Mr. Emeka is one of those that's been pushing me for a very long time. Like, Toby, you have to start podcast. I saw something on real estate. But I'm like, okay, like, hey, we're here today. And it feels so good. Welcome,
Likewise.
Mr. Emeka. Thank you for honoring this invite. Thank you for coming. And as you know, the podcast is basically about talking with people who are, what I like to say, are masters in their industry, who have had first-hand experience about what we're going to be discussing about. Mm-hmm. So you, from lifestyle to real estate to even travel, you are everything all inclusive. So it's great to have you here. Let's know the man behind DIS. Everything. Let's meet you in a jiffy, Mr. Emeka.
Right. My name is Mr. Mecca, as you know, and I'm the proprietor of DIS Spaces. DIS Spaces, it's a commercial real estate firm. So with a major focus on purpose-built commercial properties and facilities, things like the popular shortlets. So all our shortlets are 90% purpose-built.
Wow.
And we're running in about 3 to 4 countries.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Please, what country? I thought it was in Lagos and London.
No.
Wow.
We're running in South Africa. South Africa just recently, actually.
Amazing.
So we should be launching the facility in South Africa in about a week time.
Wow.
And then we're open to customers on the first week of July.
Wow.
Yeah. So South Africa is just a replica of what we have in Lagos, if you know our Ikate branch here.
Of course.
So we're also in London, as you know. And then we are in the United States, Atlanta.
Wow.
We're just starting off a little bit with 2 to 3 units of apartments that we use for Airbnb.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, as you know, we're majorly in Nigeria.
Of course.
With a massive outreach in Lagos, where we run about... you're part of us, so 64.
All of
we have
this,
64 units and all that. Yeah.
All of this, I'm thinking, how do you cope? You have Shortlet apartments in Lagos. Mm-hmm. You have, I know in Lagos, you have in Lekki Phase 1. Mm-hmm. You have in Ikate. You have in Aja.
We got one in Ikoyi.
You got one in Ikoyi as well. You have in London. You have South Africa. You have America. Now, all of these 4 countries, they're in a different time zone. I remember my last trip to Australia, it was really difficult for me to manage business because there's a time difference. When I'm waking up in Australia, Nigeria is going to sleep. So how do you cope with all of this? How do you run all 4 companies at the same time?
Right. Like what I like to call myself, I'm a nomadic commercial real estate entrepreneur. So
nomadic commercial real estate entrepreneur. I like that. Okay.
Remotely controlling everything, because over time I've been able to build a very good relationship with my managers, location managers. So I have a business process that allows me to not only check up on my facilities and properties on the go, but I also have like a reporting system where I can easily check up at my own time, whatever is going on. So in terms of regulating the occupancy and, sort of managing the whole thing, I have managers, as I said, and we have like a scheduled meeting time that works out for each of the locations.
Great.
And most importantly, to me, I measure my cash flow from every unit online, and
So talking about shortlets, I know from someone who's also in the shortlet industry, I know there's quite a number of challenges in shortlets. And I also know that the kind of challenges you face in a place like Nigeria is the same kind of challenge you face in a place like the US and in the UK.
Correct.
So of all of these locations, where would you say is your most challenging place? And then compared to the others, and how do you run this? Because someone looking out there is possibly looking at starting a shortlet, maybe in Lagos or in UK or somewhere. So how do you manage all of this?
The most challenging place, I need to be honest with you, it's Nigeria.
Of course, I didn't want to say that. I wanted to say it, so.
Yeah, but I mean, another thing is the most lucrative place
No,
as well.
no doubt.
I must
no
tell
doubt.
you that it's the most lucrative place
So Shortlet in Nigeria is the most lucrative
at the moment.
at the moment.
At the moment, yeah. So, I mean, apart from being at the moment, I've been in it for about a decade now in Nigeria. So for the whole 1 decade, I can tell you it's been good. Although I'm a little bit on the exiting stage of that now. I mean, I'm still keeping the whole business running and everything, but pulling myself out of the business because I've been able to build over time a very good, should I say, autopilot kind of management system for all my properties. Yeah. So the challenging part, like I said, is Nigeria. Nigeria's got its factors. You can't run a regular or follow a regular standard business process in Nigeria.
Of course.
Not that you can't totally. You would apply it, but
managing it.
but it will not work just only like that. You have to consider what we call the Nigerian factor.
Of course.
So adding the Nigerian factor to the regular business process, you will definitely achieve what you want. I mean, talking about the highs and lows, one of the lows I got was when I started up 2013, came down to Nigeria and was like, okay, I need to start something. I need to, business and all that. So putting up all the business processes I know. I mean, given that I got a master's degree in business administration and entrepreneurship.
Wow.
So I was like, oh yeah, I got all the thing I need.
Let's just go.
You get
and
me?
just get started.
Putting all that down in Nigeria, and all of a sudden, I was like, why is everybody not responding to the regular business process, So, but, over time, I found that, look, you need to work with these people the way they are.
Yeah.
So, it's metamorphosized into, following the people. The regular, if you can't beat them, you join them.
So, I think as a Nigerian entrepreneur, one of the issues we face would be staffing. Because Nigeria is a place where you hardly have what I like to call the entrepreneurial employee. That's someone who understands your business and runs with it. Now, to mention, let's talk about DIS space in Ikate. I know it's somewhere off Kusala Road. Now, one building, you have a lounge at the rooftop. You have apartments on the second and first floor, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
You have co-working space on the ground floor. I mean, what brought about that idea
of a coffee shop as well on the ground floor?
You have a coffee shop?
Yeah, I mean.
So what brought about having all of those in just one building? Like how did you figure that out?
Work-life balance.
I like that. Work-life balance.
Post-COVID, a lot of people realize they can also achieve what they go to work to do from their home. I mean, it became necessary for people to try to achieve and deliver on their pursuits from wherever they are.
Yeah.
I mean, co-working has been existing prior to COVID, but then after COVID, it became very necessary. So in the hospitality aspect of thinking about how either a holiday maker or someone who just want a time out to be able to get the best out of a work-life balance, so to speak, which entails, where to sleep, where to work, and where to lounge, eat, and relax. So I thought about that and I felt, okay, put up this facility where you have every one of these there. So someone comes in and they have no reason whatsoever
to go elsewhere,
or to even come out. COVID, COVID has redesigned our psychology about mental focus.
Yeah.
So putting up a facility like that where someone can come and get that 100% mental focus on whatever they want to do. They can eat, drink, sleep, relax, and
all in one space.
All in one space.
And how has it been? What has been people's reception to this kind of space?
Fantastic, I must tell you. At first it was like, are we getting the right people? But given that we're already a brand that people know for only Shortlets, so our customers or the new guests coming to the building, they were like, it was a little bit new to them. But as time goes on, those who, from a customer's perspective, those who really see that as what they really want, over time started coming.
Wow.
And trust me, they've gone nowhere else and always focused on DIA spaces.
Wow, amazing. So I am really intrigued about DIA South Africa, and I would say I want you to really dive into it. So I know like you rightly know, one of our content here is about travel and all of that. I know it's not very easy to get South African visas. So like last year I wanted to go to South Africa for my birthday, and I'd applied to the South African embassy in Lagos, and 30 days after, no response. I was like, nah, guys, this is ridiculous. I mean, this is Africa. Why do I have to? So I had to go pull out my visa, and then I went to Kenya. So how do you want to handle that? Because I know a lot of times you would have people who would ask that, oh, I am going to South Africa for holiday, all of that. They want to stay in DIS apartment, and also where in South Africa is it? So how are you targeting your markets, or what's your plan to that to get people to know about DIS place in South Africa?
Right. One of my motivations was my immediate younger brother, who is an accountant and immigration, service provider in South Africa. So it was actually for his wedding that I went to
South Africa.
Yeah, spent a bit of time with him, and I saw the niche, and I was like, I think I can replicate what I have in Lagos here.
Wow.
So I went on with it immediately. And speaking about visas, he gets or can get someone South Africa visa in 3 days.
All right, I tried to cut you. So guys, if you are planning to visit South Africa, Mr. Emeka DIS on Instagram at Emeka DIS, right?
Yes.
He's able to assist you with South African visa.
I'll refer you.
Tell him that,
I would refer.
Tell him that you are from the Lifestyle Podcast, Lifestyle Living Podcast, and so you want a South African visa. You will be a visa out, guys, in 3 days. Again, you can get the South African visa in 3 days with Mr. Emeka.
Especially in Cape Town.
Guys, I mean, what more can we do for you? What more can we do for you? Okay, please, let's go on. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's one of the motivations. And I'm like, I can easily, push guests through the hospitality means. They want visas, they want any sort of immigration services as well, business setup and real estate as well, because he's got a real estate business there. I haven't been grounded there for over 15 years. He's quite,
the master of his crafts there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was one of the things that motivated me, and it's going well so far. The prospects are there. Like I said, first week of July we're launching, and
first week of July. I think I should get my ticket now and apply for. No, now I know you. I can apply for South African visa and also join you.
Yeah, easily.
Okay, amazing. So now let's talk about property investment. A lot of people are looking at what can I invest my money in. Now we all know real estate is there's general saying, oh, real estate is the safest investment and all of that. But I mean, the average man will feel, I buy land in Ibejuleki, for instance. Now I buy it for 500,000 naira. I don't think you even have land of that price anymore in Ibejuleki, and then I have to leave it for another 10 years for it to mature. So it's a kind of, it's a long time. Run us through property investment in Lagos and also in the UK, most especially.
Okay. Pardon me if I'm coming from a commercial real estate point of view, because that's where I've been focused at.
Okay, sorry, before the question, what is the difference in the normal real estate and the commercial real estate?
Not much difference, other than the fact that commercial real estate has got to do with commerce, sort of on the go cash flow kind of properties, where it's not long term, so to speak. It's short term, and it guarantees a cash flow, where if you invest, develop, or put up a property or anything, the main aim is for it to be giving you a return immediately, as quick as possible. So majorly, or let me say popularly, commercial real estates are those like shops, shopping malls, service apartment, what they call shortlets, and then restaurants, facilities lounge facilities and all that, you know.
Podcast facilities.
Yeah, I mean, elsewhere around the world, you can categorize rental properties into it, but in Nigeria, no,
Okay.
because with the dynamics I know about Nigerian real estate, residential rental kind of real estate, it's not profitable in Nigeria. I must tell you that.
Wow. No, it's not.
It's popular, but I
But it's
tell
not.
you, it's not profitable. You know, because and that's why Shortlet is actually booming, because in the last 2 years, a lot of people are realizing, why would I buy a property for 75 million naira
I rent it for
and rent it
4
for
million
4
a whole
million
year.
naira for the whole year?
What I'll make
That's
18
quite
million
very-
on shortlets in
I
a year.
can make 75,000 naira a day on that property.
True.
On a 75 million naira, I mean, 1,000
I agree with
days.
you. I agree with you.
You know what 1,000 days will
agree
give
with
you
you.
automatically of your
I agree
property.
with you.
You know, so residential rental property is a no when it comes to commercial real estate in Nigeria. Not profitable. You know, as a matter of fact, I think over time people would realize buying an actual home or owning an actual home in Nigeria solely for residential purposes will be a no-brainer, because the world generally is even going as far as, you know, being so global with movement that you can't just tie up your funds on a property while you run your activities around the world. So you're better off get a property that suits short-term rentals, shortlets, and all that while you're away. You can come back. I mean, properties that you might not even need, but be able to buy wherever you want, live for a short time, sell it off. That's what real estate will be recently.
But wouldn't that be a challenge? So with my experience, I have a developer who did I think about 62 units of 2 bedrooms somewhere in Ikate or Freedom Way.
Go on.
And I called to say, oh, guy, have you got anyone for rent? He said, no. Everyone who bought the 62 units, they are all doing shortlets. So it gives me, it makes me worry. Like, what happens to people who are looking for houses to live? I would say in like next 5 years, there won't be access for you to live anymore. Now, what about the competition? Where in a building you have 62 units of apartments? I mean, I'm spot of choice. What if I want to? So how do you sell your own market? Because everybody's doing the same thing.
Right. I'll tell you what, as long as Lagos is concerned, the island, Lekki is concerned, it will never be enough.
Okay. I like that.
Lekki, Ethiopia as a whole,
Yeah.
it's growing, is the fastest growing location in Nigeria as a whole when it comes to real estate. And that's because every young person in Nigeria is going where?
Yeah.
Lekki.
Yeah. True.
Lekki is more or less what you can call the California of Nigeria.
True.
I mean, think about California, everybody into entertainment, everybody into filming, movies,
All of that.
pop stars, partying. Everybody's heading where? To Lekki. So it will never be enough. As a matter of fact, there's this group of people, or group of age bracket, that don't see renting house where they will live in as necessary.
True.
They prefer living in shops.
True.
You know,
A few of them, yeah.
I mean, with what's happening in the country now, I can tell you people between the ages of, say, 20 to 35 years that have, you know, plans of leaving the country jackpot, if you like.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't want to rent. I mean, I'm trying to process how I'm going to travel, which will come out anytime.
In the next
Why
6
would I
months,
want to pay
for a year?
Why do I want to pay landlord?
And then I
for
get
a
the
year?
empty space. I have to do the
You
furnishing.
get
I have to
you
do all
get
of
me?
that. Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
these people, they patronize shortlets. Even if you put everywhere on the island as shortlets, it will not only sell, it will still be on demand, because everything is happening where?
In Lekki.
Lagos.
I agree with you.
The competition part of it will still depend on preference. To me, I don't see no competition, because you might be interested in a shortlet that has a gold-plated background, but I don't like that kind of shortlet.
True that.
Some people want contemporary furnishing. Some people want modern furnishing. Some people even prefer classic, antique furnishing, if you like.
Opulence panache.
Exactly.
polishing,
So
yeah.
at the end of the day, it depends on the shortlet provider to be like, okay, let me focus my style
So this kind of
to this
market.
kind of market because the market is
What would you say is Mr. Maker? What would you say is no? Let me say Mr. Maker. What would you say is DIS based style? I don't know. I know the answer because I've been to your space.
okay. Contemporary,
Okay.
I mean contemporary because we want to try and it's contemporary because we want to try and stay in fashion or style every year.
Every year.
And most importantly to me, to cut cost. I mean, I don't want to decorate with golden chairs because every other apartment is using golden chairs. And then next year when they change to metallic,
you now have to change. And it's
just,
you brought all that from Turkey. You spent
exactly.
thousands of pounds.
So I focus on timeless designs, designs that would suit the idea of feeling relaxed, more at home, and getting the value of what you've paid for as far as the shortlet is concerned.
Wow, amazing. So let's say that I'm sure there's someone out there who's saying, I want to go into real estate. I want to start the real estate journey, maybe shortlet, maybe commercial, whatever it is. So take us through your journey. I mean, how did all of this? How did this start? And the journey so far. Regrets. I mean, personal regrets of this journey. And I know, like you mentioned, you're a nomad. I mean, I'll see your Instagram page. You are in Geneva today, and then 2 days time again you're in Monaco. I'm like, yo, and now because you have businesses in Nigeria, California, United Kingdom, and South Africa, so you're having to shuffle these 4 countries. We all know ticket prices ain't no joke. Ticket prices, and I know you always fly business because I see your Instagram, I see your Snapchat. You're always on KLM business or something. Yeah, when I say on KLM, look out for Mr. Maker Sim just for this Shokoto, man. So I mean, take us through this journey and let's hear from the horse's mouth.
It's a lifestyle that was built over time. Like I said, I've been in real estate, commercial real estate for about a decade. If you do something for 10 years, you should be able to teach, consult, and even while on your sleeping bed, be able to deliver on that thing, whatever it is. So for real estate, I've been in it for about a decade, and starting with how the journey was or has been so far. My background was IT.
Wow.
Yeah.
IT?
IT, yeah. I was
Wow.
an IT consultant.
What a transition.
Yes, I mean, I followed the IT trend, the brain drain all the way from Nigeria during the Cisco period, Cisco into Microsoft networking, delving into database as well.
Wow.
So yeah, my last phase of IT was when I was an SAP business intelligence designer.
Wow.
So I work at the back end to design a database software called SAP BI. Yeah, so I did that for a couple of years, and it took a lot from me. I mean, I was not able to travel like I do now, which was why I found real estate as one of the businesses that if I invest in as it works, I'll get that free time to do whatever I like with my time, Yeah, so the challenges so far has been the basic life challenge, to be honest with you. There's always a tough time when you are starting something.
Yeah.
If you go through the tough time, like they say, it doesn't last. Soon as the sun rises again, you start
again.
You get me? And that's just the basic, nothing too out of the ordinary that anybody could not face or that no one has ever seen. So it's not too fantastic to me, but what I see as special is making the right decision. I would say to myself, I took the right decisions at the right time. However, my delving into real estate was accidental, the way I like to put it. Yeah, because I moved back to Nigeria 2013. Was trying to put up a new residential property in Lekki Phase 1. And my next door neighbor, someone with whom we actually had to share a plot, because it was think it was about over 1,000 square meters. We got about 600,
Yeah,
650 each.
650, yeah.
So we were developing at the same time. So I call him my mentor anyway. His name is Mr. Chris. And one day he was like, Mecca, you live in the UK.
Well,
You want to build a massive house like this, call it your home, only whenever you're in Lagos, that's when you'll be there. This part of Lekki is really growing fast into what people would really want accommodation for.
and this is Lekki Phase 1 proper.
Lekki Phase 1 proper.
Wow.
Lekki Phase 1
Wow.
proper, and I can tell you more detail off Admiralty Road.
Mm.
He is already into hotel, he's a hotelier, so he understands how this property could fetch me more money
than residential.
So it took him about 3-4 days to convince me, and personally I slept over it. Came one morning, told my civil engineers, Nana, you know what, break this thing down. Surprised, because I've done my maths from what my mentor told me, do my research as well, and I was like, yeah, the risk is worth it. So I broke it down. We were just close to the lintel level after the PVC. So we had to bring it down, get my architect to redesign. He redesigned it, and we created a 1-bedroom flat, 12 units, in that space. And it was, the design was fantastic.
Of course.
So I did that, furnished it, did everything, lit it up. And soon as I put it online, it was like a wildfire almost. So the way it really progressed encouraged me not to want to do anything else with my life other than Shortlet. So I wake up every day, I'm, like, started turning all my properties I had or I'm going to have to Shortlets everywhere. So that's why we were able to get, like, as you know, 64 units on the island there. So, and yeah, that was how it started. That's the journey for me. I mean, I had the lows, I had the highs, the challenges. If I start from the government bureaucracy systems,
please
believe me, like I said earlier on, I came with the UK UK mentality.
I just go back,
Exactly,
UK guy.
I want to let me do according to the law.
Did you go to Alausa speaking Fune?
I didn't even go as far as Alausa with the preliminary troubles.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I can't go further. Even when I had my lawyer doing a whole lot of things for me, when it comes to the regular business process, running the day-to-day business, the mental issues there was not like they were wrong, not like there was,
something out of the book.
It's not out of the book.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's this Nigerian factor there. Okay, for you to get this, you have to go step by step according to the law.
Yeah.
However, if you want to say, yes, I want to go step by step according to law to get this, it will not only take you a very long time, but it will stress you out.
Yeah, true.
So what did I do? I tried it, but like I said, I gave up on it. So I called people. I found out that these people understand themselves better.
Yeah.
There's this boss-to-boss relationship in Nigerian kind of business, and employee to employee relationship.
Yeah.
If you try to go from boss to employee hierarchically to another boss, you find it difficult.
True.
Let your employee deal with anything that's got to do with any other employee.
I agree with you.
Getting the government license, getting the paperwork I need, I let my employee handle that. However, I paid much more than it is supposed to be, but
you have the results.
That's just the way Nigeria works.
Yeah.
When it comes to utility, the NEPA issue and every other point, the people, I mean, these are one of the factors as well. The people around, where my facility is said, no, we can't be sharing NEPA light with you. There was nothing wrong with the light. However, along the line, I found out there's this trend that if you open up a hotel or a facility that you're running as a commercial place, they would force you to getting a transformer. And that's because they make a lot of money out of that. I had no choice. I had to go on that. So all these were challenges that at some point started making the business stressful for me too. But as time goes on, I realized, you know what? You have to do it. This is what you have to do. That's just the way it is.
So you mentioned government interference, yeah. So I know for the UK and Nigeria, for instance, now in the UK, you can't just wake up and say you're not going to the shortlet business. You have to, there are regulations and all of that. In a place like Nigeria, is a business where barrier to entry is zero. I mean, I've had cases where my friends or someone's gate man will be the one calling me and say, Oga, I get person here, we need shortlet, oh, I won't give her your number. I beg, let me go 5,000 per day. So we see this happen a lot, man. I've seen places where someone I've employed as a cleaner leaves my company and goes to start his own shortlet. Do you understand? So the barrier to entry is zero. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me counter that a little bit. The barrier to entry is zero, but that does not mean that's how it's supposed to be.
True that.
However, the government themselves, they check these things. They'll come for you. If you don't want to go through the government process, you enter without a barrier, like you said, be ready for them because they're going to come. You know, the
LIRS and all of that,
business
tax, all
taxes,
of that.
they'll come
Yeah.
to you. You know, a lot of people fear the growth of getting big so that they don't encounter all that. And you see them operating so small. To be honest, they're just eating the crumbs, if you ask me. Like the guy you said left, started, they'll just be around the corner. It's like that everywhere. Nigerians find it so strange that, oh, government wahala, I have to pay. It's standard everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
Bringing it back to the UK, there are laws, there are rules, there are regulations. You have to, a limited company is far much more better to run a rental property or a property that will generate you income more than running it as an individual. You have to pay more taxes rather than when you run it as a business in the UK, because you have a lot of taxes to write off and everything. The reverse is the case in Nigeria. In Nigeria, as an individual, you pay less taxes. As a company, you pay more taxes. You know, so the process is more or less the same. But our Nigerian factor, again, like I said, you know, but the whole thing about my journey, my experience, how everything has worked out is working out to the extent that, I got all these, but they're all on autopilot, like we said earlier on. I had to put it down in the book. You know, let me use this opportunity to speak about my e-guide.
Okay, yeah.
So I wrote this book last year and launched it around October. Because, believe me, apart from getting myself in a situation like this where I had to talk about it a lot of people called me because I went through the stages of what do you want to do? You think it's going to work? Oh, how are you doing it? And then over time, how did you do it? You know, so I had to put this in a book, step-by-step guide, talking about commercial real estate, how you do it, everything focused on the Nigerian way. So the step-by-step, everything about shortletting, commercial real estate, it's all in the ebook. And I got that book on my the link in my biography.
Okay. What's your Instagram again? So anybody
my Instagram is mr.emeka.dis.
Okay.
That's one more time. Mr. Dot Emeka.dis.
All right.
Click the link in my bio and you get the ebook there. Okay. You know, so the ebook is very detailed on sugared information and far from shortlets. I went as far as, you know, talking about investing in roadside shops as well. Okay. A lot of my friends, they found it very funny. But when I put them through, you know, carried them along the same way I invest in along the road kind of shops. Yeah. You'll be so surprised that these kind of commercial real estate investment, they generate a very good steady income. Trust me.
Let's dive deep into investment. I get questions as, okay, Toby, how much do I need to have a good investment? How much would I make? And I think the average Nigerian has this. We have this in our mind of this get rich quick syndrome. So I have someone who says, "Oh, I want to invest 10 million naira now. By next year, am I going to get 12 million naira?" I'm like, listen, it's Shortlet though, yeah, but you have to pay things. You have to pay electricity, service charges of those things. So let's like run us through proper commercial real estate investment.
Right. If we use Shortlet as a focus, there are different levels to investing in Shortlets. The major, most lucrative one, highly profitable and in capital intensive as well, is the purpose-built Shortlet. What I mean by purpose-built Shortlets is you starting a building from scratch with a few number of units, all focused for the purpose of being a Shortlet. It's quite different from looking at the building and you say, "Oh, I can use this building. Let me buy this building for Shortlet." It's different from a building that was originally developed all the way up purposely for Shortlet.
Yeah.
The difference is this: purpose built has a design that has the utility structured differently, especially unified, so that it could be able to. You can easily manage the facility.
Yeah.
However, a building that is built on the regular design of units of flats is quite different because their utilities are separated. You can't really measure. You then have to measure individually. You can imagine getting 12 electric meters for 12 apartments.
Right. Yeah. That's a lot.
Compared to putting everything in one.
Yeah.
You recharge electricity in one. You supply, if you're going to go on inverter, diesel and all that, everything just
in one source.
Wherever there's an issue, you easily know where it is because, so the management of that is, managing a purpose built is quite easier than managing a regular blocks of flats. So that's one level of investment in Shortlet. Now, it's quite expensive, it's capital intensive, and a lot of people tend to look at it like too massive. But one of the ideas I gave in my book, which was one of the options of investing in Shortlet, is that you can, if you want to come put yourself as the pilot of that project, all you just need to do, an example, let me give this tip out free of charge. Get an architect. Let's say you want to develop 10 units of Shortlets.
Yeah.
The architect, puts together the design of 10 units of Shortlets. And you say to yourself, I don't have money to do this project. How am I going to get money to do this project? I need investors. Make it easier. Get 10 investors. So now we have 10 investors.
10 units.
10 units. If you're focusing on a particular area, you have to find out how much one unit of that kind of flat goes for in that location. For example, we can say Ikati, roughly 2-bedroom, 75 million,
75, 80,
80 million naira, times 10. Believe me.
800 million.
Say it again?
800 million.
800 million. 800 million naira will put up a 10 units of 10 units
of 2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms.
Of course.
Put it up in Ikate for you. The investment part of it is a regular way people can go and say, "Oh, let me buy one apartment here that I want to use for Shortlet." Pull that person together, pull up funds, put up a facility, strictly Shortlets. The building could be Toby Nigeria Limited. Nobody knows
what's happening there.
You are running it.
Yeah.
Those 10 people, the investment is tied to each unit. That's the security they have. That's the insurance they have. How do they make their money? You have to work out the running costs, give them a particular percentage of what each unit is supposed to be bringing regularly. You can't offer them 100% profit on that because you still have to run the place, make your own money. And then over time, don't forget, the investment is based on lease. They can cash out anytime. And it's easier for you. All you need to do, put up that unit in the market. Someone else buys that unit for Shortlet. You pay Peter after collecting from Paul.
Wow.
It's as easy as that.
Amazing. So, how about cases where because I've had people ask, oh, what would you say the least investment can be as an individual? Like, okay, you want to maybe invest in DIS spaces. This is the minimum amount you can bring in, and because of this and this.
I mean, again, generally depends on your level of funds you have available.
Yeah.
Some people can say, okay, let me start with 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. Depends on what you
What you
have
want
at
to
the
start with.
moment.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to do it through an existing real estate company that is running on shortlets, you can either buy something more like a timeshare kind of investment.
Yeah.
It really depends on what
Timeshare
they've got to offer
offer.
you, to be honest.
Okay.
You know, the more straightforward ones are like, oh, me and my friend, I can't afford 1 unit of apartment, but let's say me and my
Two of
friend,
us can
we
put
can
together
put
45M
together
and buy this unit.
45M, we buy this unit. It's giving us, for example, 45,000 naira every day.
Mm.
And we split 22,500 naira every day. Still the same thing.
Amazing. So one last question before we round up for today. What is that determining factor to say this property would sell? Off my head, I know there's a few. There's road challenge, and there's some parts in Lekki where the properties will hardly sell because the road network there is terrible. So what is that to look out for you to be confident to say this property is definitely going to sell?
Proximity is number one. As soon as you're able to work out a good proximity or a property that's in a good, you can now focus on the infrastructure that has got to do with accessing that property. The road network obviously will have an effect on your level of
Returns,
occupancy, your returns, you know. But there's this magical thing about shortlets. Sorry, I keep focusing.
Please tell us. No, of course. I mean, shortlet. Yes,
I was speaking about real estate.
Yeah, but shortlet, of
that's
course.
all I know.
Shortlet is called. Yeah.
Right. So the magical thing about shortlet is we're talking about road access, proximity.
Yeah.
Some people, they don't care where your shortlet is. For some of them, what works for them is a shortlet.
That's not accessible.
That's not accessible. Believe me, that's not accessible.
True.
You know, one of my shortlet facilities, the one I have in Asaba.
Wow, you have in Asaba.
Yeah.
How do you know that? Okay.
It's on our Instagram page. We detail it there. So my intention initially was to start with a regular rental for that property. Then when the area gets busy,
you now convert.
I now convert. So, but I found out that when I was changing the furnitures I have in Lekki, I didn't know where to put them. And I said to myself, we just finished Asaba. Let's move these furnitures to Asaba. So I did. I moved them to Asaba. Put it there. I wanted to put it on the flats there, rent it for a long term. Before I knew it, I found out that some young people just want to stay there on the weekend. I said to my manager and I said, you know what, let's give it a try. Let's see. Our major challenge there was electricity. So let's give it a try. Let's see how it goes. We tried it and I found out that some people just want to be away from people.
True that.
Come in there, spend 1 week, 2 weeks, 6 days, 5 days. I was like, you know what? Every shortlet, wherever it is, wherever it's located, however it looks, has got a customer that kind of shop.
I like that, man. Every shortlet, however it is, however it looks, wherever it's located, it's got its own customer that wants it.
Exactly. I might be someone. You might be a man who likes fancy things, luxury. You go for luxury shortlets. Some people just want somewhere they can just rest for a while. You know, I learned my big lesson on that when I was, decorating my place in Lekki. Things, sofas. I imported these sofas. everything. You have to. You don't need to look at them twice to know that these
Yeah,
things
this
are
expensive stuff. Yeah.
perfectly selected. Another. When I was doing my pricing, there was another shortlets building down the road. Got that price. I'm like, no, I can't sell the same price like this. My place is
Spent a lot. Yeah.
I've spent a lot. My place is well decorated.
And I think that's a mistake a lot of people make on
expensive
shortlets.
things
Yeah.
and all that. I know
Yeah.
my chandeliers are foreign ones, the new ones. But half of my customers, they don't care. They'll tell you that this guy is charging this. Why do you want to charge me this? And by the time you start telling them because of the sofa, because they'll be like, Baba, I beg. Are you guys giving that price? I don't care about all these things. I've had guests that they don't even turn on the TV till they leave.
True.
I've had guests that they don't even go into the kitchen space.
They leave.
They
True
don't.
that.
You get me?
True.
So every shortlet has its own kind of customers.
I mean, thank you so much, Mr. Maker. It's been amazing speaking with you about shortlets, investment, and all of that. Please, one last word for someone, like something to end this with.
Generally,
Yeah.
the regular saying, whatever you put your mind to, you
You
can
can do
achieve.
it.
Just don't listen to naysayers. There's a friend of mine. I asked him what's the name of it. He said, big achievable dreams.
I like that. Big achievable dreams. I like that.
So every dream is achievable. Whatever you want to do in life, the first thing you need to put in front of you is, okay, what are my goals? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
My personal goal is to be able to run a business or any business that I can generally automatically where I am. Freedom to me is the height of every level of success.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say when you get the money, then you realize it's not the money. For me, it's really not the money.
Freedom.
Waking up and being able, don't want to see myself reaching to any walls.
Yeah. Waking up and saying, today I want to have breakfast in Paris. I want to have lunch in Italy and dinner in Germany.
It's not as easy as that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. It's been amazing. I'm sure our viewers out there have got one or two things to learn from it. And thank you so much.
There's a whole lot in my ebook.
So yes. So please go on Instagram. Your Instagram again, please.
Is Mr.
Okay.
Emeka.dis.
So please go on Instagram. It's Mr.Emeka.dis. You can enjoy a view of his lifestyle, and also please go on the link on the bio to have access to the ebook. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us. And it's been amazing. I'll see you again next week on the next episode of The Lifestyle Living with Sir Toby Mesa. Bye for now.